special occasions are meant for us to remember, specifically remember their contributions. So now, Prabhupada once, he became very deeply emotional and spoke to some of his devotees. He said that I am a very old man, and he started this movement at a very old age, in 70s. Okay, I am a very old man, and I could die at any time. And I am appealing to all of you. You please take this movement forward. You please take the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu far and wide. So I am just leaving this responsibility to you, because I will leave at any moment. Okay. So, but for those who have accepted the teachings and continuing the legacy of Prabhupada, they always feel the presence of Prabhupada. There is no discrepancy for them. Okay. And there is no discrepancy for Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is continuing to live in those teachings, live in the lives those people have tried to spread the teachings from his life. Right. So, like we all have great opportunity to practice devotional service, connect with Krishna by the teachings of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada himself said, I live forever within my books. When we are reading Prabhupada's books, hearing his lectures, and following the regimen that he has given to us, the devotional process, devotional service, then Prabhupada is always there with us. Prabhupada's words and teachings become the guiding principles for leading our lives. Okay. So Prabhupada said, always living forever within your books. So now, these scriptural principles, whatever we are reading in Gita, Bhagavatam, these scriptural principles are not meant to give us some inspiration, meant to give us some information. They are meant to give us some inspiration and cause transformation of our hearts. We need to be seeking transformation and inspiration for our devotional service, rather than getting excited with knowing something new, some new information, right? So, it's more inspiring to see these scriptural principles being demonstrated by the person. Yeah, we hear scriptures, we read nice principles, we may hear Tanaka speech and Anatara we may hear Swami in the Vesha, Bhagavad Gita, or we may hear principles of the in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Tiraskrita, Vipralabdha, Shakta, Shikta, Hata, Apinasyaka, Pratikutmanti, Tad Bhagavata, Prabhu. Gita and Bhagavatam reflect and represent so many wonderful principles and describe Vaishnava qualities. But unless we see a devotee, the person demonstrating those qualities, we may not be able to internalize them so easily. It becomes very easy for us to relate with them and imbibe them, absorb them, assimilate them, and implement them when we see a living example. Right? So Prabhupada has been a living example of all these Vaishnava qualities described in Gita and Bhagavatam. And he has created so many other living examples who have demonstrated these qualities of humility, gratitude, service attitude, satisfaction, tolerance, all these wonderful Vaishnava qualities. So that is Prabhupada's greatest contribution to the spiritual upliftment of the entire humanity, to create live examples who have demonstrated the principles of Gita and Bhagavatam. So, as we understand from Prabhupada's entire life, he is very dear to Krishna. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yayidam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesha vilasiti. Whoever gives this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to people in this world, especially to devotees, is very, very dear. There is no one as dear to me as that person who preaches the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada took the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in a language that the whole world can understand. It's like Vyasadeva has written so many scriptures. He wrote Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, Vedanta. He has done so many things. And later, several acharyas have given so many commentaries on what what Vyasadeva has written. Okay? So many bhashyas are written in Sanskrit language or in some local languages. But Prabhupada has taken this wisdom given in the scriptures written by Vyasadeva and commentaries of all the acharyas in a language that everyone can understand. And later they were translated into local languages also. So he deciphered the transcendental language into a form that is easily relatable and digestible to the modern crowd. That's what scriptures are. Gita and Bhagavatam, Bhakti purports are. Right? So he has become settled dear to Krishna. He is the Paramapurni, Bhakteshu Pavidas. So once somebody in Govardhan interviewed Prabhupada and later they were speaking. This swami, this Prabhupada, he is a small man, but he has a big message. Then Prabhupada heard, this is small man, he has a big message. Yes, I have a big message. So Prabhupada said, yes, the message that I have is very big. Krishna's message is Bhagavad Gita. Sukadeva Goswami's message is small thing. And the magnitude of Prabhupada's attempt in those days to take of course scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam, Upadeshamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and communicate their teachings to people who have not even heard the word Krishna sometimes, many of them, right? It's not a small thing. Now you see, once Prabhupada was giving a class in New York, I think. So he was explaining from Bhagavad Gita. He was speaking to people, Krishna, you understand Krishna? You have seen that picture? Like as Prabhupada was in full swing explaining, at one moment he noticed that audience are blank. They're not getting anything. Nothing is getting into their heads. Prabhupada said, have you seen Krishna? Have you seen that picture? Krishna, Arjun, they don't know what is Krishna. There is a noun or pronoun or which language it is. They don't understand what is Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, I'm not happy here. I'm not happy here. I'm missing Vrindavan. So one lady noticed that we understand that you are not happy here. Why don't you go back? Why don't you go back to your place and stay happily there? Then Prabhupada said, no, my spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, has instructed me to preach this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam message in an English-speaking language to everyone in the Western countries. So I have come here. And he continued the lecture. Right? So Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan, he was meditating that everybody in Vrindavan were just so absorbed. We recently went to Vrindavan. People were absorbed in their devotional service. They are going to Mangalartis in different temples, prominent temples. They were chanting the holy names of Krishna. They were saying Radhe Radhe. And some people have even taken vows not to even go to Mathura. We will reside in Vrindavan. We will live in Vrindavan. We will die in Vrindavan. In such a wonderful, spiritually vibrant ambience, Prabhupada was thinking, people in the Western countries, they don't know what is Vrindavan. They don't know what is Krishna. They don't know what it means to live a life without sense gratification. I must take this Vrindavan to them. I must take this Krishna to them. I must take this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to them. And he left a very comfortable, spiritually vibrant atmosphere surcharged with spiritual vibrations in Vrindavan, and went to the West only to spread this message. So many hardships. 40 years of struggle he has taken. Right? So Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj says, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartan. Without Krishna Shakti, without the empowerment from Krishna, no one could preach to anyone to this magnitude. Right? So Prabhupada is completely empowered with Krishna Shakti, with the energy of Krishna, and he took the message of Krishna in an understandable way. So that is all because of Prabhupada's determination and selfless service attitude and commitment to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master. So Prabhupada says, you all have your families, and there is another family, permanent family, eternal family, that is Krishna's family. Come, I will show you the way of becoming a part of that Krishna's family. Please come into Krishna's family. Please become a member of Krishna's family. And this relationship with any member of Krishna's family is permanent. It will never break. Please enter this Krishna's family. Prabhupada is urging everyone. And this requires a lot of compassion. Now, Prabhupada often quotes from our Prahalad Maharaj's prayers. There are some people who are sva-vimukti kama. They are desirous of their own vimukti, their own liberation from this material world. They may go to Himalayas and they may do some tapasya, they may do some austerities, and they are very much committed to liberate themselves from this material entanglement. But there are other category of people, so they also want to help others getting liberated. They don't just take care of their own liberation, their own salvation. Let me also take 10 other people with me, 100 other people with me, if possible, the entire world with me. Okay? So that's the commitment that Prabhupada had, and he often quotes the example of Prahalad. So now one aspect of Prabhupada's way of teaching and commenting on the scriptures is this. He did the analysis and he gave us the essence. Okay. So in Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Krishna, we find Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and there's another term, Buddhi Yoga, suddenly comes up once in a while. That could have multiple meanings also. So, but essentially what Krishna wants us to do is Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So Prabhupada speaks about that conclusion of Krishna right from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Because sometimes people may not reach 7th chapter or 9th chapter or 18th chapter. They may read first 2 chapters and close the book. So in our online classes, one little girl asked, like we were taking Bhagavad Gita. I was taking Bhagavad Gita, and then first 6 chapters were quite complicated to understand. Nishkama karma, sakama karma, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga especially. It was a bit bewildering to kids. Okay, and when we came to the 7th chapter, things are flowing much smoother. And one little girl asked at the end of the class in Q&A session, she said, Prabhu, why Krishna spoke Bhakti Yoga from 7th chapter? Why he kept Bhakti Yoga in the middle? Why not in the beginning? What if people just open Bhagavad Gita and read 3rd chapter and then close the book? It's not meant for me. I can't handle it. Read the 2nd chapter and then close the book. I can't handle it. So, wonderful question. But all I had to say is, Prabhupada spoke Bhakti Yoga from 1st chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Krishna also spoke Bhakti Yoga in every single chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But a greater degree of emphasis on Bhakti Yoga comes in the middle 6 chapters than in the other 12 chapters. But Prabhupada made it so obvious. It's Karma Yoga. Prabhupada says Krishna Consciousness. Action in Krishna Consciousness. So he did all analysis. I have done analysis. Don't worry. I'm giving you the essence. Tadasya kausharava sarmadatur hareh katham katha susaram udrutya pushpebhya ivarta bandho shivaya nah kirtaya kirta tirtha kirtehe. Tadasya kausharava sarmadatur. This shloka is spoken by Vidura to Maitreya. Vidura is speaking to Maitreya. My dear Maitreya, I know you know so many topics. Okay? But speak only the essence. You are Sharmadatur. You are the bestower of auspiciousness and greatest welfare to everyone. So, Hareh katham eva kathasu saram. There may be so many kathas in this world. There are so many topics in this world, but the topics of Lord Hari are the most essential topics. The essence of all topics is the topic of Lord Hari. That is Hari Katha. Please speak that. How? Udhrutya pushpebhya iva arta bandho. Just like a honey bee goes to different flowers in a garden and collects the essence, which is honey. So when a honey bee goes into a garden, in the garden, honey bee can see trees and plants and pathways and gazebos and sofas and dustbins. So many things are there in a garden. But a honey bee is not distracted by all those things. All this constitute a garden, but for honeybee sees the only essence. The essence is the nectar, the honey within a flower. That's all. Full focus on seeking that essence. Similarly, scripture speaks so many things. But the essence of all scriptures is to perform bhakti, to perform loving devotional service unto Krishna. And Prabhupada emphasizes on this essence right from beginning of Gita to end of Gita, right from beginning of Bhagavatam to end of Bhagavatam in his Bhaktivedanta purports. He did analysis. He didn't. We don't have to do all the analysis. Even if you do analysis, intellectual analysis, philosophical analysis, you will come to the same conclusion that Prabhupada has given. Right? That is the mercy of Prabhupada. He is such a merciful Acharya that he gives us the essence. Udhrutya pushpebhya iva arta bandho shivayanaha kirtaya tirtha kirtehe. Shivayanaha, for the auspiciousness of entire humanity, he does it. And his conviction on the path of bhakti is seen in his dedication to the instruction of his spiritual master. So, in that series of slokas only in Bhagavatam, it is said, Ekanta labham vachaso nupumsam sushloka mauler gunavadamahu. Ekanta labham, the one and only gain of the entire humanity is in practicing bhakti unto Krishna. And the most important aspects of bhakti is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay? Chanting the holy names of Krishna and glorifying the pastimes of Krishna and hearing the pastimes of Krishna, right? So, Prabhupada understood this essence, okay? And Prabhupada wants to transmit this essence. So, he has given us a regimen to follow so that we are constantly exposed or bombarded with Shravanam and Kirtanam in all the activities that we do as a part of our spiritual life. So, so many acharyas have spoken a lot on Sambandha Tattva, our relationship with Krishna, all the Vedas and all. But Prabhupada has made the Abhideya. Sambandha is relationship with Krishna. Abhideya is the process of reviving that relationship, the process of establishing that relationship firmly by practicing the path of bhakti. And Prayojan is essence, love of Godhead, okay, the ultimate result. So many acharyas have spoken a lot on Sambandha Tattva. Prabhupada's unique speciality of Prabhupada is that he has given a lot on Abhideya. He converted that Sambandha Jnana, okay, into a practically implementable Abhideya path. He has given the right method of implementing the teachings of the scriptures, right, in a practical way. Okay, you do Tulsi Puja, you do Mangalarti, you do this, you do that, you chant 16 rounds of harekrishna Mahamantra, you hear Bhagavatam class, you read Bhagavad Gita, you preach, you serve, you cook for the deities, you worship the deities. So, lot of teachings on Abhideya and giving a practical process and a schedule for it, right? Morning you do this, evening you do this, throughout the day you do this, okay? So, he's convinced. So, now, like one small example of his conviction. Once in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, Prahlad, I am chastising you, I am scolding you, I am threatening you, and I am even trying to kill you through my soldiers. Are you not afraid? On whose strength are you so fearless? When Hiranyakashipu asked like this, Prahlad said that the source of my strength is the source of your strength also. That's a big blow on the ego of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is a Haridveshi. He always hated Lord Hari. He always hated Lord Vishnu. And here is little 5-year-old kid, Prahlad, saying that the source of your strength is Vishnu. The source of your strength is Hari. Hiranyakashipu is considering the Supreme Lord as his enemy, and Prahlad is saying that that enemy, that your so-called enemy is the source of your strength. Okay, the source of my strength is the source of your strength also. So a pure devotee is convinced that whether a person loves God or not, whether he realizes that he is a servant of God and lover of God today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow or after 10 lifetimes or in the next day of Brahma, he has to come to this conclusion, right? He understands that. Once one reporter asked Prabhupada, so, Krishna is your God? Prabhupada said in the line of Prahlad, Krishna is your God also. Okay. So Krishna is your God also, not only my God. That's a conviction. That's a Prabhupada said, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, right? So Krishna is the Supreme Creator, Supreme Lord. Mattaha parataram na anyad kinchid asti dhananjaya. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Who can give such categorical, conclusive teachings unless he is the supreme authority of these bhakti teachings? So now Prabhupada has traveled from one place to another place, Mahadvicharanam Runam, with this conviction in the heart and with an ambition to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. Now, Prabhupada went through 40 years of struggle, 4 decades of struggle to establish a movement. So many failures. So he is single-handedly writing, proofreading, editing. Okay, now we have so many devotees who can, okay, I wrote an article, can you proofread? They will proofread and send. Okay, and writing also, you just type. Okay, and you can rearrange the paragraphs. You can make it, make one sentence before other sentence. It's very easy. But in those days, typing was not that easy. He has to carry a typewriter. He has to proofread. He has to edit. He has to oversee printing. And he has to publish and distribute also, personally. Okay. So while he was doing these efforts, one day in Delhi, Prabhupada got a sunstroke and he just fainted. And one day he went to the printer to oversee the printing and he did not even take breakfast. And the printer had to arrange breakfast, seeing this old swami. Okay. He would walk because he doesn't have money to pay to the rickshaw person. Okay. So he went through so many hardships to establish the movement of Krishna consciousness, but he failed, quote unquote, he failed several times in this first 40 years. But they are not failures. As Prabhupada says, I am not a man to get disappointed so easily. Okay. These are not failures, these are successes of Prabhupada. What is failure? When you fail in your attempt, when you fail in attaining success in your attempts, if you give up your determination, that is failure. Okay? If you give up your zeal to continue to achieve it, then that is failure. Prabhupada never failed in that. Apparently, the attempt to establish international society did not see success for 4 decades, but Prabhupada's consistency in endeavoring to do that was always there. In that sense, he is always successful. So failure is a failure only if we give up our determination, give up our enthusiasm, give up our service attitude and hope. Prabhupada never gave up his hope. He was always successful in maintaining complete hope in Krishna, complete confidence in the instruction of his spiritual master. Right? So he is so committed to the path of bhakti that even on deathbed he has been doing it. In India, he was endeavoring for 40 years. Okay? And he went to America. What is that shloka? Janasya krishnad vimukhasya daivat adharmashilasya sudukhitasya anugrahayeha charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardanasya. Janasya krishnad vimukhasya daivat. Common people, they are krishnad vimukhasya. They have turned their faces away from Krishna. Vimukhasya daivat. They turned their faces away from Krishna. Because of that, they became adharmashilasya. They have become so adharmic and so dukkhitasya, and they are suffering. So to convert that Krishna's vimukha people as Krishnonmukha people, to convert that adharmashilasya people into parodharmashilasya people, to make them commit to parodharma, which is bhakti. Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhakti radhokshaji. To convert that sudukhitasya people into susukham kartum avyayam. Prabhupada is traveling. Janasya krishnad vimukhasya daivat adharmashilasya sudukhitasya anugrahayeha charanti nunam. To show anugraha on common people, charanti. These great souls go from one place to another place. Mahadvijaranam Runa. So then Prabhupada went to the west, and before going to the west, he went through so many austerities, as we see in another Bhagavatam shloka. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavah prayaso janah paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya khilatpanah. Tapyante lokatapena. Loka tapa means people are undergoing so many tapas, so many material miseries, right? To stop their miseries, to give a break or to put a full stop to their experience of miseries, to their experience of tapas, great souls like Prabhupada undergo tapa. Okay? Their tapa counteracts our tapa. So Prabhupada's tapa, tapasya, austerity. What is austerity? What is tapa? To accept some inconvenience upon oneself voluntarily for a higher purpose. And in Prabhupada's case, in the case of all acharyas, higher purpose is to bring common people to Krishna consciousness, to serve Krishna, to assist Krishna in reclaiming the fallen conditioned souls, to assist the glorious Vaishnava parampara in spreading, in transparently transmitting the transcendental message to common people for transformation and to stop their tribulations. The material world is filled with so many temptations and so many tribulations. So we are tempted to enjoy on a material plane, and those temptations will lead us to so many tribulations, because material enjoyment will not give enjoyment. It will only throw us into a pool of more hankering for enjoyment. And you keep on searching for enjoyment and there is no enjoyment. So these temptations on a material plane lead us to tribulations, and to stop these temptations and tribulations, great acharyas like Prabhupada transmit transparently the transcendental teachings of Krishna, of the parampara. Okay. So now coming back to this shloka, tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha. Great philanthropic souls, great compassionate acharyas, almost always accept voluntary inconveniences upon themselves for the upliftment of human society. They undergo tapa to counteract our tapa. Okay. Paramaradhanam tadhi. This kind of compassionate endeavors to help common people on a spiritual plane is the greatest form of worship of Krishna. Parama aradhanam tadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha. So just like Lord Shiva drank poison to protect people of the universe from that poison, from that kalakuta, halahala, that came out of Samudra Manthan. So in that context this shloka comes, and there Prabhupada says, the greatest welfare that one can cause to other living beings is to bring them to Krishna consciousness. And for that purpose, great souls can undergo any amount of distress, take any amount of inconvenience upon themselves, right? So despite doing all this, Prabhupada never took credit. Prabhupada never took credit for his accomplishments. So at the end of Chaitanya Charitamrita commentary, Prabhupada says, if there is any credit for my translation work, that credit goes to my spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Only on the authority of his instruction and his desire, I am doing this translation of scriptures in English. If any credit is there, that goes to him. Second, if there is any credit for my translation activities, that goes to my followers, my disciples who are assisting me in this preaching work. So Prabhupada has given all credit to his guru and his disciples. He did not take anything for himself. And he also said, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada is saying, I neither have bhakti, I don't know Vedanta. I am neither a scholar nor a great devotee. But still something is happening means it's all Krishna's grace. It's all my guru's grace. I always feel the presence of my guru. Okay. So once Bhakti Charu Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I wish I was there with you in the initial days of your struggle in the America, in the New York. So when you were not getting any assistance in spreading and teaching and in washing utensils, so he would give a big feast to the new bhaktas and they would eat nicely and then they will go. After several days, one person said that, Swamiji, do you need any assistance? I'm waiting for this. So Prabhupada said that, and then they came to wash utensils. And even on the first day when Prabhupada initiated some people, he conducted all yajna, he made all arrangements for the yajna, and disciples took initiation, they left, and Prabhupada the spiritual master has to do all the cleaning part. Right? That's all he has done. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, Prabhupada, I wish I was there with you when you were doing all this alone. Prabhupada said, alone? I was never alone.
I was always with my spiritual master. Right? So Prabhupada is always feeling the presence of his spiritual master because he is carrying the instructions of his spiritual master within his heart. Even till his last breath, he was executing the spiritual master's instructions. So Prabhupada writes in one purport, the secret of success in spiritual life is in sincerely serving the spiritual master and thereby getting his sincere blessings. This is the secret of success in spiritual life. Prabhupada writes in somewhere, first canto purport, so you can see. So the secret of success in spiritual life is in serving the spiritual master and thereby getting his sincere blessings. Not normal blessings, sincere blessings, heartfelt blessings. So heartfelt blessings come even without asking. Okay, when I do some seva, when another Vaishnava is pleased with that seva, I get blessings. Whether I know that this devotee is pleased by my seva, or whether he knows that I have done this seva or not, I will get blessings. Paramatma network is very strong, right? So when someone sincerely renders seva, blessings will automatically come profusely, right? And that best service is done to spiritual master. And when the spiritual master personally gives an instruction, and if one sincerely accepts it with full dedication and executes it, then one can become successful in spiritual life. That's what Prabhupada says. Even while lying on deathbed, Prabhupada is doing that only. Nauttama shloka vartanam jushatam tat kathamritam syat sambhramonta kalepi smaratam tat padambujam. Na uttama shloka vartanam jushatam tat kathamritam. For those people who have dedicated their entire lives for Krishna Katha, for propagating Krishna Katha, there is no bewilderment even at the time of death. At the time of death, generally people are so much confused and bewildered. They are meditating on their unfulfilled material desires. Right? So many things happen at the time of death. And physical pain, mental pain, exhaustion. But Prabhupada is translating Bhaktivedanta purport. Somebody is holding a dictaphone. Prabhupada is translating very coolly. Okay, so he is giving his Bhaktivedanta purports. Right? So till last breath, he is just serving the instructions of his spiritual master. Okay. There is no misconceptions at the time of death also. So, there is no greed for credit. At the same time, there is no compromise in presenting Krishna conscious philosophy. Right? So, there is absolutely no attachment for taking credit or getting name, fame, prestige and all. So, our integrity and commitment and determination are tested at multiple times in life, in multiple phases of life. One, we are tested for our consistency in failures, and we are tested for our humility in success. When we fail in our attempts to do something, are we consistent? Can we consistently continue that endeavor? Second point, when we become successful, can we be humble or some kind of pride comes in? So first 40 years of Prabhupada's attempts, so many apparent failures came in his life, but he was always consistent in his attempts to continue his endeavors. So Prabhupada is tested for his consistency in failures and he passed. distinction. And Prabhupada was also tested for his humility when he became successful. There is no test for Prabhupada. Who can test Prabhupada? But Prabhupada is just basically revealing his qualities of consistency, revealing his qualities of humility, consistency in failures and humility in success. Right? So Prabhupada has done like that. And one day, after morning walk, Prabhupada was being taken in a car. So Prabhupada got into the car, going back to his residence, and through the window he has seen a nice scene. What was there? There is a small child, little boy, and there is grandfather. So the child has to post some letter in the post box. And he is very short, he is unable to reach there. So grandfather lifted the child. And the child could easily drop the letter into the post box. And the child is kept back on the ground. Prabhupada saw that. He had tears in his eyes. And he turned towards other devotees who were sitting with him in the car and said that on our own we can't do anything. The child could not even put a letter in the post box on his own. He needed support from an elder. So Prabhupada saying that on my own I could not do anything. Only by the blessings of my spiritual master I was able to do whatever I was able to do. Right? So to that degree, so Prabhupada was very much committed to executing the instructions of his spiritual master, and so humble at heart, with absolutely no pride. Now, see the humility of Prabhupada. One more small example. In the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, there is the story of Dhruva Maharaj, you know. At the conclusion of Dhruva Maharaj's story, Lord Vishnu sends a Vaikuntha airplane with Nanda and Sunanda, the Vishnu Parshadas. So they come with an airplane in front of Dhruva at Badrikashram, and they say, now you can come to Dhruvaloka, you can come to Vaikuntha. We are here to take you to Vaikuntha. And Dhruva felt, yeah, fine. After 36,000 years of rule, Dhruva is now going back to Godhead, going to Dhruvaloka. He was happy. He took a bath. He offered obeisances to all the sages there. And he circumambulated the Vaikuntha airplane. And he kept his foot on the personified death and boarded the Vaikuntha airplane. The plane was about to move. Nanda and Sunanda was there to attend to him. Plane was about to take off, and Dhruva Maharaj said, I will not go now. I don't want to go. I want to jump off from the airplane. Why? He remembered his mother Suniti. Okay. He remembered his mother Suniti. At the age of 5, my mother inspired me to perform bhakti. If my mother has not inspired me to perform bhakti and to Krishna today, I would not have got this opportunity to go to Dhruvaloka. 36,000 years back, Suniti spoke to Dhruva that you should worship Vasudeva to fulfill any desires. Dhruva did not forget it. Gratitude. Okay. He was so grateful to his mother that he did not forget that little piece of inspiring statement that made by Mother Suniti. So even while going to Vaikuntha, he was remembering his mother. Then Nanda and Sunanda just tapped the back of Dhruva and said, don't worry, you don't have to jump from this airplane. See there. In the sky there is another airplane going. In that airplane, Suniti is also going to Vaikuntha. And Dhruva felt so happy. Prabhupada felt so happy. And he's pouring out that happiness in his purports. You know what he said? So, taking a lesson from this beautiful episode in Dhruva's story, Prabhupada says, by the strength of the devotional service of one of my disciples, I may go back to Godhead one day. Right? On my own, I may not be able to go to Vaikuntha or the spiritual world. But if one of my devotees, one of my disciples, who are like my sons or daughters, when they perform bhakti nicely and when they become eligible to go to spiritual world, maybe I will also get some entrance. To this degree, Prabhupada is humble. When somebody asked, are you Jagat Guru? Somebody asked Prabhupada, are you great teacher? Are you superior to everyone? Prabhupada said, I am servant of everyone. Okay. So this is the mood that Prabhupada carried in his overall preaching. So it's not just Prabhupada's words impacted the people to take to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's demeanor also, Prabhupada's character also, Prabhupada's mood and qualities, Vaishnava qualities that he has exhibited has made permanent marks on the hearts of all the devotees, that they have committed themselves, they have surrendered their lives without any affiliation to the Vedic culture in the past. Suddenly out of the blue he is coming and teaching a totally new spiritual culture that is totally alien to them. But they could accept it, embrace it, and give themselves to the path completely because of seeing Prabhupada as a loving example, as a loving Acharya. So that's what makes Prabhupada the most compassionate Acharya. And he's completely grateful to Parampara, and he's obedient to Parampara. He's not taking any credit for his activities. Now, before 1965, Prabhupada had one initiated disciple. After 1965, Prabhupada had about 4,000 initiated disciples. Before 1965, Prabhupada was author of around 3 books, 3 volumes. After 1965, he became the author of about 60 books. Before 1965, nobody could even imagine or perceive that Prabhupada will become an Acharya, world Acharya. But after 1965, Prabhupada toured the world about 11 times, and he has established about 100 temples, right? So all this is because of his consistency in his attempts to execute the instructions of spiritual master despite unlimited failures, opposals and reversals. So Prabhupada, in Prabhupada's Leelamrit, Harvey Cox, he writes in the intro, what is that called, prologue. So he writes that Prabhupada is unique and he is not unique also in one sense. He is original and not original also. He is not original in the sense that he is not presenting anything new. He is presenting exactly what the scriptures are teaching us, what Parampara has taught us, what Krishna has taught us. Thus, he is a transparent transmitter of the transcendental teachings. Nothing quote unquote original. But Prabhupada is original also, because he is doing this activity in a very unique way, in a way that is understandable, digestible and relatable to the modern crowd. That's what personal realization means. Prabhupada writes in the first canto, 4th chapter, first purport. What is personal realization? He gives a definition of personal realization. Personal realization means not to screw out something, some obscure message from the scriptures and then present it according to one's own whims or one's own imagination, but to exactly preserve the essence of the scripture and present it in an interesting manner, in an understandable manner to the modern audience, right? So that the translation of something sublime to something relatable is done by an Acharya, and that is their uniqueness, that is their originality. Prabhupada has done it. He has put everything in English, right? So, and many other things, many other revolutionary ways of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So these are a few thoughts on this auspicious day of the disappearance day of Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Acharya, without whom Yadi Prabhupada na hitu, without whom understanding Chaitanya Tattva, understanding Gaura Tattva and worshipping Radha Krishna would have become far, far away from even our dreams. So only by Prabhupada's grace now we are able to chant the holy names of Krishna. We got some clarity. So we got some clarity of thought, what is my goal of life. Okay, all these credits must go to Prabhupada. We are eternally grateful to Prabhupada. We are eternally indebted to Prabhupada. We can never repay the debt that we owe him. So with this note of gratitude, with a humble prayer for some strength to imbibe the teachings of Prabhupada, implement the teachings of Prabhupada, and also inspire others in accepting these teachings, we are requesting him for that strength. So with this prayer I'll conclude. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.